20s. Hi, JP. How you doing?
Hello. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah. Rainy outside, all sorts of problems already, and we have big news to talk about.
I mean, the Cleveland Browns doing what only the Cleveland Browns can do, which is turning Joe Flacco in a 6th-round pick into a 5th-round pick. I mean, come on, guys.
That's value right there.
Process over results. I got your value right here.
It is value. I'll say that.
Man.
It is value.
Nothing gets me hotter on a Tuesday than value.
They love turning basically what turns out to be nothing into the tiniest of something. They love this.
I just love the idea that at the end of the season, when both Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry sit down with Jimmy Haslam, they're like, all right, so what's our win and loss record? And they're like, we don't want to talk about that.
No.
All right. So where are we at quarterback? Let's also not talk about that. Okay, what win could you conceivably show me when it comes to your 6 years here in Cleveland? We turned 40-year-old Joe Flacco in a 6th-round pick into a 5th-round pick. All right. Can we do extensions now?
We got 2 actually. We also we upgraded Kenny Pickett's 5th-rounder into a better 5th-rounder, and then they handshake all around like when you land on the moon and you're NASA and everyone applauds and goes crazy and nuts. That's them in that moment.
They do like some sort of skull and crossbone or some Ivy League handshake that they've let Jimmy in on because even though he didn't go to Ivy League, Tennessee, to the volunteer program, you can barely read there, but he's hip.
Football Illuminati.
Yeah, the football. I love that. The thought partners in the football Illuminati. I will say, I tweeted this out, but I will just say it on air because you can verify it. Jake Murren can verify it.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I had written down the topic and pitched the topic. If the Bengals call about Joe Flacco, what's the price? And I honestly, we talked about it, and then I didn't put it in the rundown because I was like, at this point, that kind of topic is hack. And then so, of course, Joe Flacco gets traded into the Bengals.
It wasn't a Monday topic was all it was.
Yeah.
But it was definitely the type of topic that we were going to get to at some point throughout the week. And I told you before the show, I was like, I almost threw it out there yesterday to be like, and Nick suggested this just to kind of play with it. But I was like, again, it's not a Monday topic. It's not where we're at right now. So, yeah, you definitely, you were thinking that way. Now, obviously, the idea that the Bengals and Browns have never made a trade together, maybe that would have stood in the way. Like, I imagine 80% of phone calls of people would have been like, they don't trade with each other.
Yeah.
Not happening. But it did on the surface make sense.
I'll just say this. Actually, I'd like to go to you. What is just your initial impact, or what is your initial thoughts on Flacco to the Bengals?
Initial impact, initial thought is, what if Joe Flacco looks good?
Yeah.
That's got to be the biggest thing that everyone has to wonder, right? And he's going to look better than he did with the Browns because the Browns this season, he was one of the worst quarterbacks in NFL history if you just took the 4 games that he played. He's going to look better. Higgins makes you look better. Jamar Chase makes you look better.
Yoshavas is their 3rd receiver. He's a nice player.
Like they're going to have Joe looking better. And then the reflective nature of this is going to be, well, all right, how much of that then gets pinned on Stefanski? And I bet a lot of that is going to be happening. We're going to look at Joe Flacco, and he's going to have a 300-yard game. He's going to have a 3-touchdown game or something like that. It's going to happen. And he might even lose those games, by the way, and we're going to get mad at Stefanski.
I think it's interesting the amount of Browns fans that in response to this immediately like, well, he's washed. And I'm like, no, he's washed in this context. So and here's the thing. I don't definitively know he will light it up in Cincinnati. I just think it's really hard to look bad when you have his arm with Jamar Chase and when you have T. Higgins. And by the way, they got a couple little speed guys around them as well. So even though those guys like Yoshavas would probably be your 2nd receiver here at best, well, yeah, but he's the 3rd receiver. So in that context, he gets free a lot.
Well, and I saw our friend Ashley Bastock being like, like shuddering almost with that Bengals offensive line. It's like, listen, Ashley, I love you. We'll talk to you tomorrow. But it's not like the Browns' offensive line has been 5 great players either.
That's actually the saddest thing. As bad as the Bengals' offensive line is, your offensive line is worse. Yeah, like dramatically worse. I would honestly, watching as much football as we have through 5 weeks, I think the Browns have the worst offensive line in the NFL through 5 weeks.
I mean,
I don't know if the stats back that up.
It doesn't get much worse. PFF agrees as far as the pass coverage is concerned.
I honestly hate it. I hate everything about this trade. And I am the guy that had said in January, I don't think they're going to win.
Wait, why do you hate it? What's there to hate about it?
The turning a 6 into a 5th does nothing for me. It absolutely does nothing for me. I do think Joe has value as a backup and as a leader in that room. And even though I think this team stinks, and I've thought that this team was going to stink since January, you can't be saying things like we're trying to win and putting the best foot forward by trading one of your captains to a division rival, no matter if he's your backup or not.
Is it because you're helping the division rival? Is that the part that you're mad about?
I think it's all of it.
Because I understand that. If you're mad about the idea that this could in turn have them win just enough games to have a spot where when Joe Burrow returns, they're in the driver's seat to then go to the playoffs, understandable completely.
I think it's everything.
I get that side of it.
I don't get up. Like, they've never had a good fifth-round pick here. Oh, Jerome Ford. Woo! Also, Richard LeCount, Tony Fields, like Nick Harris.
And like, DPJ was a 6th-rounder.
I mean, well, you see, if it was a 6th-rounder, I'd feel different about it.
You know who else was a 5th-rounder, though?
One good season.
Shador Sanders.
Yeah, which is something we have to get into.
You can get a lot of value out of those 5th-round picks.
So we'll get into the Shador stuff because that might be the one thing I do like out of this. But no, I don't like trading to a division rival who I think Joe has a chance to be functional there and maybe give them some wins. I could not care less about, we got value. We traded turned a 6th-rounder. We upgraded by 40 picks. Woo! Don't care about that. Don't like trading a leader. Don't like the message this sends to that locker room, which basically, after Kevin Stefanski piddled down his leg yesterday on a game that was incredibly winnable, to then the very next day, the GM piddled down his leg by trading a quarterback. And I know it's more value than you should get for Joe Flacco. It's still not value. It's a pick swap. Like those just do nothing for me unless it's a 2 or 3 round pick swap, which it was never going to be. I think this team is destined to be 4-13 or somewhere in there. But I think those guys deserve a chance to have veteran leadership in that room. And after this loss specifically, where your head coach cost you the game to trade a guy who's respected in that locker room, I hate this for every veteran that's playing for something that might not be here next year, but might be in the NFL next year.
I don't think Joe Flacco was playing again at any point this season. I thought that ship had sailed. I thought it was going to go Dylan, and then it either goes Dylan into Shador or Dylan into something I don't even want to dream up. But like, there is value that Joe Flacco brought to the team in a week in, week out basis. I saw someone highlight, they took a photo, they were on the sidelines in London, and it was Shador and Joe Flacco, and I guess they were like tied at the hip the entire game, the two of them. Mm-hmm. And anytime that again, this is just this person's anecdotal story attached to it all, and their evidence of it, but they took a photo and they're next to each other, and like they said, they were basically the entire game, it was Flacco teaching Shador what was going on and being that leader that he never really was to Lamar, by the way, in Baltimore. And so like, I think the value of that alone, that type of stuff, that there is something to that. But on the football field, Joe Flacco, he was never going to play again.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. What I would say is I also don't like that this probably puts Deshaun Watson one step closer to playing again for the Cleveland Browns. I don't think it's going to happen, but hypothetically, it's more likely now.
We just keep chipping away at the quarterbacks there to get down to Deshaun, don't we?
Can we swap like one 7th-rounder for another 7th-rounder for Bailey Zappi? Can we do that?
Bailey Zappi, how does he add value from the practice squad?
I don't know. I mean, well, you bump him up to the roster, you wait a week, and then he'll have value, of course.
It's in play.
I would hate this even if I didn't think there was a chance Joe's going to go to Cincinnati and play well. And I think there's a chance. I don't know how big of a chance it is. Like the Kenny Pickett thing to me made sense because it was like, okay, pick between Joe and Kenny.
Well, so that I think it's the more insulting thing to the players that are in the locker room, not necessarily getting rid of the voice and everything like that, but the idea that if he goes to Cincinnati and runs the Joe Flacco offense that he had 2 years ago, and yes, you have better wide receivers there, but if he runs it and is able to just unleash and throw the ball deep and not have these golden handcuffs that he had while he was here, he looks much better. Then yes, every Browns fan that's listening to us right now, you have all free right in the world to get as angry as possible at the Browns and how they approach this season.
And can I just say it again? You didn't have to do it. I think that's the other part of it. Like, there's nothing about turning a 6th round into a 5th round pick. And like, and conceivably, this pick could go, because I think it's Detroit's 6th rounder into Cincy's 5th rounder. So if, for whatever reason, the Bengals just fall flat on their face and they're a 2-win team this year, yeah, this could be like a 70 pick kind of a jump.
Okay.
Yeah, it also doesn't do anything for me because it's still a 5th round pick. Like, there's just nothing about this that does anything. And here's the thing. I know and you know where this team is likely to go. It doesn't need nudged there, right? You don't, like, this to me is the kind of move you make if you're tanking. And that's not what this team should be doing. It's not how you grow culture. And when I say culture, I mean it's not how you grow young players into the next wave of whatever Super Bowl contention window I hear that organization talk about quite a lot. Just, there's nothing about this that does anything for me. And that's before we get into the idea of you did this for a division rival who, by the way, their liver-spotted owner has said countless times in private to the media that he's never going to trade with the Cleveland Browns.
Their liver-spotted owner.
He looks like Palpatine. something Flacco.
So Mary Kay is already reporting, and I believe her reporting is true. I just don't believe that the Flacco side of this is necessarily 100%. She's reporting out there that Joe Flacco did not let the Browns be like, hey, you need to trade me, essentially is what I'm trying to get at. He didn't usher in a trade request, is the point, and I just don't believe it. I believe the reporting. I believe that's what Joe is telling Mary Kay, or wherever Mary Kay is getting this sourced from. I believe that's accurate. The part that I disagree with is I would imagine Joe probably came to the Browns and looked at what's happened with Browning, and I guess the Bengals have been calling everybody and anybody for 48 hours now, trying to make something happen, and I would imagine Joe was very adamant that he wanted out and was trying to get somewhere else in Cincinnati, in a spot where he can at least end his career in a much different way than what we saw with the Browns, where it was awful.
So actually, we're going to put it right here, because there's a tandem piece with that it's going to be a piece of Brown spin you're going to hear, and it will make me go through the roof when it is heard, whenever it's reported, which probably will be at some point today or maybe 2 weeks from now, if Joe has a good... I'm not gonna give it away right now, but there is something that I know that there's a piece of spin for this trade. And again, just don't like it on grounds of anything. There's nothing about this deal that does anything for me. I don't care about process, and I care about results, and your results suck, and they're going to continue to suck because this is the kind of thing that does absolutely matter in the locker room. But there's something that will bug me even more than that, and it's right up the alley of what you're saying. But so here's the thing.
Yeah.
And I know I have not seen it yet, and I've looked everywhere for it. That it is the thing that I do think sometimes matters. When teams make a trade, if a team's going to like a rebuild, and you make a trade for a veteran player to a winning situation, they're doing right by player X. Sometimes I buy into that theory. And I do buy into the theory that if you do that enough, that over time there's going to be some sort of residual benefits for your organization. I think timing matters, though, and I think doing this going into week 6 is part of why I don't like it. Whenever the Browns release the very PR-friendly thing of, hey, we just wanted to do right by Joe.
It's going to sound like when Bill Callahan went to the Titans.
Yes. And by the way, has not worked out for the Browns. No offense to Bloom Diddler.
Everyone across the league, though, was like, oh, they get a lot of credit for this one. Letting him go coach for his son. What a great team and organization they're being.
The thing that kills me about that is I've never heard a player come here and be like, I took a discount. I could have been paid more elsewhere because of the way they do things here in Cleveland.
No, I had not heard it. I have heard a lot of players say I went to Cleveland because they gave me the most money.
Yes. Yeah,
heard that a lot.
Yeah, or they drafted me.
Yeah, that happens too.
They were the only team that traded for me.
Sure.
I've heard all of those things, but we got to do it right by Joe Flacco.
I just like the cut of their jib.
Oh, my gosh. And you know what? Mac Jones is going to give you a $250,000 discount this offseason when he signs here with the new head coach. And he's going to be like, I'm doing it for Flacco.
You got Mac Jones already coming to the Browns?
No, I'm not going to do that.
Is it just what would you do? Would you call him McCorkle the entire time?
I would, yes.
I know you would, yeah.
Now, here's the thing.
I'm surprised you didn't do it right now.
I wouldn't mock him like I mock Kenny Pickett because I actually think there's something there to Mac Jones.
Okay.
And I know, and I was actually proud of Ken Carman for bringing it to air today.
I heard him bring it to air, yeah.
Because you can remember last football season, in the offseason, I was like, if we're going to do former washed-up first-round pick that hasn't worked out yet, why don't we go with the guy that was like Rookie of the Year Cal player once in Mac Jones?
Yeah.
I believe you mocked me. I believe you mocked me. I believe Mac mocked me, and he shares a name with McCorkle.
First off, I don't remember if I did or didn't mock you. It sounds very, very much like me to mock you in that setting.
It's like the thank you LeBron thing all over again.
If memory serves me right, was I pushing a campaign for a different guy with the last name Jones? A guy maybe named Daniel Jones that is off to a 4-1 start to the season.
No, we've got I was right off.
And was an unrestricted free agent and was just sitting there as the Browns needed quarterbacks and only cost $13 million?
Somebody needs to talk us off the ledge. We got a couple I was right.
Maybe what happened?
All right, let's simmer down. Let's not We were both right. That's all that matters. But no, we did right by Joe Flacco. Blow it out your so-and-so.
I mean, that's going to be it. That's going to be the message they're going to say. But I really do.
How do I reach these quarterbacks?
It's a very nice way, and I believe in the reporting that Mary Kay is putting out there. But I have a hard time thinking, and I think I told you this at one point throughout before the season even got underway, that if Flacco lost the job, I didn't expect him to just hang around. Again, I think in that conversation, I was hinting more at he would just take his ball and go home, not that he would broker a trade to a different team. But what does Joe Flacco benefit holding a clipboard? If you look at it through Joe Flacco's lens, he's either playing football at this point or he's off on islands and hanging out with his kids and doing family time at 40. He doesn't benefit anything teaching Shador Sanders on the sidelines.
But I do think this is where it goes back to the idea of timing matters. And I understand timing is why it happened, because Cincinnati is in panic mode because you just got waxed by Detroit. By the way, everybody gets waxed by Detroit this year. But I do understand timing became the part of this. But it's if this happens after the bye at the trade deadline, it might sound silly, but those 4 weeks do matter. I think having a veteran in the room, and I'll say one more reason. Kevin's not a good leader. All right? He's not a bad guy. All right? And I don't know he's a bad leader. But he's not a great leader. He might just be an average. What was the word for Dylan Gabriel's play yesterday?
We came up with adequate, but I liked
acceptable.
Acceptable is what I liked. Yeah,
I think Kevin might be an acceptable leader. But when you are spinning your tires in what very quickly can turn into a very lost season, Kevin ain't going to save you. So what saves you is a locker room full of leaders. That is the one thing that I will point to with Joe. And again, it's not the end-all, be-all. This isn't going to be the reason why they're fired.
It's really hard, though, to lead from the bench in many ways. And it's really hard just in general. I look at it from Joe's perspective, less from, what Joe can do for us, more as, what does Joe get out of just hanging out on the bench?
Paycheck?
Yeah, great. He gets a paycheck, but he's made $200 million in his career.
Here's another $1 million.
He can go spend his time with his family. He can go hang out and do other things.
If he does that, he does that.
But I feel like in this instance, I feel like if I'm him, you're right. You don't have to. There's no part of you that has to. But if I'm Joe, I'm pushing. I'm making the broad claim. Yes, I want to be gone. I want to go. I want a chance to make sure that my career doesn't end being perceived as one of the worst 4 weeks in football history. Like it currently is.
I don't think anyone's going to talk about this 4-week stretch with the Browns when it's all said and done. They're going to talk about the 4 games that he played in Baltimore.
Not that they're going to talk about it, but it is how it ended. It did end this way.
Nobody talks about how MJ's career ended or how Kobe's.
We always talk about how the whole Wizards time we talk about all the time.
I never hear a damn word about it. When it comes to the legacy conversation with Michael.
Well, it's not a legacy conversation. This is about Flacco.
Bad.
This is about Flacco. This is not about how we talk about it. This is about Flacco and his perception.
So that's how he remembers?
Yes, how nobody wants to go out being as bad as he was over those 4 weeks. There's no way he goes to bed thinking that's a satisfying way to cap out an 18-year career.
I think if he's that troubled by 4 games, I would just say therapy is real, and it is beautiful, and it is helpful.
So you don't think he's happy that he gets another chance to rewrite that?
No, I think he's happy.
He's got to be thrilled. But
I think the idea that Joe maneuvered anything, it's who are you to maneuver? You got signed off the street 2 years ago. The only reason you really started last year in Indy was Anthony Richardson, and the only reason you started this year is Kirk Cousins wouldn't take Kirk Cousins and the Falcons couldn't find a way to make an amicable divorce.
Clearly, he does have value because the Bengals just decided they wanted him over whatever it was going to cost him to get Russell Wilson.
Because of a 5th rounder and a 6th rounder.
Well, he expressed value. The Bengals are going to have him be their starting quarterback.
That is the dingleberry of value. That is not.
It's still that if it's a dingleberry of value,
hanging Chad of value,
then he still has that value attached to him.
Oof, man. I hope I have that value.
You brought Dingleberry to the equation.
I did. I tried to pivot very quickly to hanging Chad.
So, I shouldn't have gone for attached.
Do people remember what a hanging Chad is?
Yes, I think so. Hey, remember
it's 25 years ago
Ted
now.
Mosby dressing up as a hanging Chad and How I Met Your Mother for Halloween?
I sure do. Is that
it's a good costume?
What has kept the hanging Chad living for a long time?
It has for me.
No, I look at this and I go, the only thing I like about this, is it is one more, whereas I hate it because it is one more obstruction removed from Deshaun Watson playing this year, and I can tell you right now, if you are 1 in 10 and you put Deshaun Watson in, I will announce my displeasure with authority. That is all I'm going to say. I will make
what is it you announcing your displeasure with authority sound like?
I will make
I'm angry.
I will make a nuclear bomb look like a fart. Okay, I will. I will just absolutely lose my ever-loving mind.
If that happens, I'm going to turn off the mic and I'll just let you go for 15 minutes.
Maybe walk out, get a cigarette. I don't know.
Long walk.
Just, hey, got to get those steps in. All right? But
I look like Volnick when I was gone for those 2 weeks, and every video that came out, it was him just sitting there.
Well, no, he's a good listener.
He's a very good listener. You want to get to talk at some point here?
In fairness, the one that everybody saw the most of was the Dolan video, and I think he just was a little afraid to step in there because the eyes were bulging.
Between you and Jake, it's Jake just sitting there.
Now, with that being said, I do think that this now clears the way for Shedeur to be the backup, and that is more interesting. That is substantially more interesting.
But now even that becomes debatable for a lot of people for some reason, as if Shedeur shouldn't. Geez, if that rap sheet report, why are people taking that as if that is gospel in so many ways? Now all of a sudden, because the rap sheet report came out over the last weekend, that they wanted to have a clear runway for Shedeur when he does start, if he does start at all, and they didn't want to just throw him into a game. That's supposed to be gospel. So now that because of that report, Bailey Zappi has to be the backup quarterback. Like what?
Wait, is that being reported out there, or is that how people are?
That's how people are twisting it. They're twisting it with the idea that then Bailey Zappi has to be the backup quarterback based off of the rap sheet report. And it's like, how did we get here? Shedeur is the obvious backup now.
It's so funny because I am Switzerland. You're part of the Shahive. I have no ties to Shedeur other than I was happy you got him with a 5th-round pick because that felt like incredible value. And if given a choice between starting Shador Sanders and Dillon Gabriel, I would have already been starting Shador Sanders. But again, that's like you can choose between this legitimate NFL quarterback and a legitimate NFL backup, right? If they go anywhere at the backup spot other than Shedeur, what are we doing? Like you've already told the locker room. You've already told them, hey, guys, love ya, believe in ya, but we really got to figure out what we have with these kids. Like, you've already told them that. Bailey Zappi serves no purpose as a backup in the NFL other than he's alive and his name is Bailey Zappi and he's played before.
He is in fact a warm body.
Like there is. I honestly like if you're going to put Bailey Zappi as the backup, we might as well dig up the actor that did the Weekend at Bernie's and we just do a Weekend at Bernie's, not that Bernie. Like the Weekend at Bernie's from 1989.
I think everyone knew which one you were going for.
I realized I was saying Weekend at Bernie's, and I'm like, well, okay, this could go sideways very quickly.
Sunglasses, no. We've gotten very political this segment in ways that we don't ever really, while giving no political thoughts, by the way.
Yeah.
Zero political thoughts. Well, you just wait. Now that we're on YouTube, everything goes.
It's 3:40. All right. I got a lot of thoughts I got to get off my chest. No, I'm not going to do that.
Shedeur should be the backup, though. Everyone trying to make this, not everyone, but the people that are trying to make this jump to because Rap Sheet had that report, that obviously means the Browns won't just throw him in. Guess what? If Dillon Gabriel gets injured in the middle of a game, they're going to throw Shador Sanders into the game. Like I know everyone wants this great soft landing for Shedeur. Guess what? He can handle it. Throw him in the middle of the game, watch him shine, and don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think where you are with mid-round quarterbacks, while, yes, I do believe that teams, more often than not, ruin quarterbacks than quarterbacks ruin teams, all right? So I've espoused that theory. I stick to that theory. We're also talking about a 3rd and 5th-round pick. Like, the idea, teams get so precious with these guys. It's like, we got to let him sit 4 years before we let him get in there. It's like, oh, then you just don't think he's any good.
Right, basically.
Like, you just took him as a flyer and then it figured. Like,
Dillon Gabriel said it best himself. He's like, if you're waiting for the perfect time, you're going to be waiting a really long time. That doesn't really happen.
Shedeur.
I know people thought that was another shot at Shedeur, and maybe it was. Maybe it was.
Well, that might be another thing here. It looks like the alleged, the presumed beef between Shedeur and Dillon gets ratcheted up a few notches.